about a pupil after meeting their parents. I had this student, Marcus, who was obsessively perfect at everything. Not just good, perfect. Every assignment flawless, every test 100%, every project beyond what was required. Other teachers praised him constantly, but something felt off. Marcus would stay after class redoing work that was already perfect, erasing and rewriting the same sentence 5 times. He'd panic if he got a 98% instead of 100%, shaking until I changed it back. He never spoke unless spoken to, never laughed at jokes, never relaxed. The strangest part was his lunch routine. Every day, Marcus would eat exactly half his sandwich, then throw the rest away. When I asked why, he said he wasn't hungry anymore, but I'd catch him staring longingly at other kids' snacks. His essays were technically perfect, but emotionally empty. When we studied poetry, he'd analyze meter and rhyme scheme flawlessly, but never connected with the actual meaning. It was like he'd memorized how to be a perfect student without understanding why. During group work, Marcus would do everyone's portion himself rather than collaborate. When other kids tried to help, he'd politely decline, saying he preferred to work alone. He had no friends, but didn't seem bothered by it. The breaking point came during a creative writing assignment. I asked students to write about their happiest memory. Marcus turned in 3 pages about getting a 100% on a spelling test in 2nd grade. Not a birthday, vacation, or family moment. A test score. Parent-teacher conferences finally arrived. I expected to meet academic-focused parents who'd raise this high-achieving child. Instead, I got something much darker. His mother walked in wearing designer clothes and immediately started taking notes on everything I said. His father checked his phone constantly, barely looking up. They seemed more like business associates than parents. So Marcus is performing adequately? His mother asked, as if discussing a quarterly report. Actually, he's exceptional, I said, but I'm concerned about his social development and stress levels. His father finally looked up. Stress levels? What does that have to do with grades? I explained Marcus's perfectionism, his isolation, his anxiety about anything less than 100%. They exchanged a look I couldn't read. We've invested considerable resources in Marcus's success, his mother said coldly. Private tutors, educational consultants, performance coaches. This is simply the return on that investment. That's when it clicked. Marcus wasn't naturally perfect. He was manufactured. Tell me about a typical day at home, I asked. His father checked his watch. Marcus wakes at 5 a.m. for physical fitness. Stamina impacts cognitive performance. Breakfast is optimized for brain function. 2 hours of individual study before school, 4 hours after. Dinner includes vocabulary practice. Bedtime stories are replaced with educational podcasts. What about playtime, friends, hobbies? His mother looked confused. Those are inefficient uses of time. Marcus's schedule is optimized for academic achievement. Everything else is a distraction. I felt sick. What happens if Marcus gets less than perfect scores? Consequences, his father said simply. Reduced privileges until performance improves. Additional study hours. Sometimes Marcus chooses to skip meals to focus better. Shows real dedication. That explained the half-eaten lunches. Marcus wasn't not hungry. He was punishing himself for perceived failures. What about emotional needs? Does Marcus ever just be a kid? They looked at me like I'd suggested something obscene. We're raising a future leader, his mother said. Emotional indulgence creates weak adults. Marcus understands his potential and the work required to achieve it. After they left, I sat in my empty classroom feeling absolutely horrified. Marcus wasn't a gifted student. He was a child trained like a performance animal, programmed to achieve perfection through fear and deprivation. The next day, I watched Marcus differently. The way he flinched when receiving papers back, how he'd automatically start over if he made the tiniest mistake, the panic in his eyes when I asked him to just try his best instead of demanding perfection. This wasn't education. It was abuse disguised as high expectations. I started small changes, praised effort over results, created mistake-friendly assignments where perfection was impossible. Slowly, Marcus began to relax. He'd smile occasionally, make small jokes, even ate full lunches. But every parent conference brought the same cold evaluation of his performance metrics. His parents treated their child like a machine they'd invested in, not a human being with emotional needs. Years later, I heard Marcus had a complete breakdown in college. Apparently, when faced with his first B+ ever, he stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and had to be hospitalized. Sometimes perfect students aren't gifted. They're just scared.